Bella Vista Community Television presents Bella Vista and Beyond. Today our hosts are J.B. Portillo and Robert Ritschel. We will be talking about Northwest Arkansas space and regenerative medicine. And now to the studio for our program.
Good morning, Bella Vista. We are back with you. You know what, Bob, my co-host, we are so special this month. We get to do this twice.
You know, I don't know that you should mention that because people might not want to watch us twice, but we're going to be on twice anyway.
We
so
are.
You be sure
and we always have fun. So
absolutely.
You know, if you want to have fun, just join Bob and crew.
That's right.
Good morning, seriously, everybody. This is JB and my co-host Bob. We have some very special guests with you today. I'm hoping that you are going to enjoy it as much as I am. So, Bob, before we get started, you think we ought to take a little bit of time and celebrate some of our supporters?
Absolutely, yes, because we've gotten some very, very strong support throughout the communities. And I think most of those checks come to you, not endorsed to you, I mean,
right.
Not made out to you,
right.
but still, being on the board, you see those checks. Why don't you say something about that?
Well, I'd like to at least celebrate two today, because there's several that
okay.
do a lot of things for us. But the Bella Vista POA is very supportive of what we do, and they, in turn, we record all their programs for them and all of that. But we really appreciate you, POA. And we have, and you know, I'm so curious, I know I'll never know, but we have a wonderful anonymous donor.
That's right. An anonymous donor has issued a challenge grant that we've talked about for about the last 6 months, and of $5,000. And the community TV came very close, just within touching distance of that. And the donor said, you know, you made a very good effort, and so I'm still going to pony up the $5,000. So we did get an anonymous gift for $5,000, for which we're terribly grateful, especially today, because we're able, although we can't show you, but maybe we'll get a picture of it later. Our lighting today is being brought to you with LED lights instead of heating lights.
Yes.
And it's very bright, and this is the first program that we've done that. And we bought some equipment, 3 lights today, and I know we'll keep doing that as a way of showing our thanks and updating some of the equipment that we have.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So anyway, thank you to all our supporters, but especially to those two today.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes.
All right, do you want to kick off?
I will.
All right.
Kick off. I feel like I should mention the Chiefs since they're having their celebration today. They are, in fact, having a big parade, and I wore my red in honor of that. After 50 years, I think we're able to do that. I have with me Dr. Katherine Auld, and Katherine is an associate or assistant professor, I believe.
Yes.
At NWAC. In what department, Katherine?
Well, the math science department.
Okay. Math science department, which has given her a leg up on what we're going to be talking about, because it's, as you heard for our announcer, NWA Space. So what is NWA Space? We'll start out with that.
Well, we're a nonprofit. We've been a nonprofit for 5 years, but our mission is to support science, technology, engineering, math, education throughout the region.
So it's a STEM program.
It's a STEM program.
Anybody that has in education has heard about the whole STEM thing.
STEM and STEAM. Sometimes they stick art in there to make it really integrative, but our focus is STEM.
Okay. So, and you have been in the news lately, more so than I think on one specific thing, and it had to do with some sort of telescope I remember reading about. You want to tell us about that?
Well, the telescope, we were given a telescope in 2017. It's 36 feet long, 2 feet in diameter, weighs 50,000 pounds. So it's big. It came in on 2 semi-trucks. But we've been working to build an observatory for that as part of the Science Center. And so we feel that we're very close to being able to announce a location for the Science Center.
How close are you? Within days, maybe?
I'm having a meeting tomorrow with the board to make a decision.
Okay, and I think what I remember hearing you say once before is that if you could find something close to the interstate, that was a preferable thing?
That was preferable.
Yeah.
This telescope, the telescope's over 100 years old.
Okay.
So it's a very long telescope, and inside are baffles that cut out light pollution. So we don't care if we're in the most pristine dark skies, because that's not where you're going to find young people who are trying to figure out what their career is going to be. You find those people in the middle of town. You know, we go to Dixon Street in Fayetteville and set up telescopes and say, you know, to everybody who's walking by, do you want to look at the moon? And they're just fascinated and amazed. And anytime you set up a telescope and let people look through it, it's such an event for the day.
So if you get land, then your hope to actually build an observatory, and I think we've got some video of that. I don't know if we can get it up right this minute, but if we see it pop up on the screen, we'll go to it right away. But we have an architect's rendering of what that might look like.
Yes, we have an arrangement with.
There it is. Whoops.
There it was.
We had it for just a moment. Well, see if we can get it back in just a moment. We have an
arrangement with PB2 Architecture in Rogers. They've been doing fabulous stuff for us. And so we have a design for the building. There you're looking at, you know, what the building may look like. Of course, we're still in the process, but there are 2 domes there. The one that's moving in the back is a solar telescope. The building will actually be part of the entire design. And then the big dome for the nighttime telescope.
Now, would that nighttime telescope be the one that has been donated?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact that it's over 100 years old doesn't mean it doesn't work anymore.
No, it works beautifully.
Yeah.
We have looked through several pieces of it, and it works beautifully.
Oh, you actually have been able to look through this?
I've looked through individual pieces without it all being put together. But
well, how long did you say? 30 feet?
36 feet long.
Okay, well that'd be kind of hard to put all together.
Yes, very hard. But the head of the telescope, which is what you use to point it in different directions, you know, you can turn up and turn the dial with your fingers and move it. So all of the internal workings are still in perfectly good condition.
Okay, so if we're able to fund this, you'd have some classrooms as well.
Yes,
design.
The bottom floor of this building will be an auditorium, and then classroom lab type spaces, a chemistry lab, a computer lab, various different labs, so that students can come in and do stuff.
Is there an observatory anywhere near here? I mean, within 100 miles or something? No. You know where the closest one might be?
Observatory with a telescope this big, Lowell, Arizona. Flagstaff, Arizona. The Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona.
That's kind of hard to get to overnight.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so having something like this would be so great, you know, for tourism as well.
Oh, yes.
In addition to the educational component,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people, obviously, in Northwest Arkansas who are always interested in tourism, as we've seen so often.
It's one of the things that keeps a community alive.
Absolutely. Now, you have an event coming up, a fundraiser event. You want to say something about that?
Yes. March 14th, we will be having an event out at Lake Point Event Center. It's a gala. We're going to have a silent auction and dinner, of course, and then we're going to do an event with some of the young people. It's called Breakout Boxes. There's a box on the table with locks on it, and you have to figure out the clues to break into the box to get the prizes.
You know, I'd like to see JB try that. Can I buy one?
I could do it.
we can buy those boxes and have them, or fund those boxes, or
you can buy tickets to come to the center, to the gala. There's single and couples tickets. You can buy a table. You can also sponsor, and you can sponsor one of the young people that are coming to work with you, because they have the clues. They know how to get in the boxes.
So, do they sell? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, how much would it be worth to know?
Yeah.
And that's March 14th, and to buy those tickets, you have a website.
NWA.space.
NWA.space. It's just that simple.
Just that simple.
Okay.
The .space. There's no .com or
So
org
it's not
or
a
anything.
typo.
No, it's not a typo.
Okay.
Space is our domain.
And you have a Facebook page
Yes.
as well.
And it's also NWA Space, and a Twitter, except that I don't know anything about Twitter. So.
Well, a few of us do, so we're going to let
I'm
that
so
one go.
proud of you.
So what else could you tell us that I know you were coming to the studio today and you wanted to get that one point across? Is there something that I haven't asked you about that you want to mention about?
The other thing that you can do on the website is become a reoccurring supporter.
Okay.
$5, $10, I don't care. You can give me 50 cents a month, and it still shows the support that the community has for this. Because big donors are awesome, but they are interested in, does the community support your mission?
Yeah, that's such an important point. I mean, you can go and you can fill out all kinds of grant applications. Having done this myself, I know they want to know what your community support is like, because they want to make sure that they get, and there's probably a better way of expressing this, but I'm going to say bang for the buck.
Yes.
And they want to find that you really are out there. And a STEM project, or STEAM, STEM project, and I'm an artist. I mean, I have that background, so I'll put that plug in there as well.
Okay,
But a
I'll let
STEM
you.
project, and this is such an important thing, because we need
Yes.
to keep the education component going in outside of just the regular classroom.
Right. Science in the classroom is very important, but it's hard to make it just fun. And so the things outside of the classroom, you can be just fun and light the curiosity, so that they then go in the classroom and really understand what they're learning in the class.
Do you still have a recurring event at Hobbs, or with telescopes and
So
that kind of?
the Hobbs thing is technically Sugar Creek Astronomical Society,
Oh.
of which I am a member.
Okay.
And the next one of those is February the 22nd.
Oh, so that's coming up real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
And we do those 6 times a year, every other month.
All right. So that's an opportunity too, still related to gazing at the stars.
Hobbs is beautiful.
Yeah, and I think people just don't realize how much light is in the regular. If I go out on my deck and I look up, I can see some stars. But there's a lot of ambient light.
There is. There's a
even
lot more than we realize.
Yes. I lived once in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and we were at 6,000 or 6,500 feet.
Oh,
and,
cool.
and at that level, also the community were against a lot of street lights. There wasn't a lot of ambient light, and wow. It was amazing.
Now I'm jealous.
What you could see. But having a telescope of your size and having these opportunities, it gives a wonderful opportunity for young people, especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all about the young people.
Do you have any questions, Julie?
Just
go ahead.
quickly, how soon would you be putting all these pieces together after you get your location? When can we expect to see this?
I keep telling people I hope to break ground in 2 years, and so 3 years from now. They keep saying that because we keep working forward.
Yeah.
But yes, once we have funding in place, it'll only take a couple of months to build.
Okay.
It's
So it's all about the funding.
Exactly, and the Bella Vista Library is a good example of that. They were raising funds for at least a couple of years before they broke ground as well, and this would just be a boon for all of Northwest Arkansas.
I just think maybe we should have her come back when we get closer, don't you?
That'd be great.
I bet she'll do that.
I bet she will.
Are we going to have a break before we go?
I think so.
Okay.
Would you like to
Oh, okay.
break us?
I will do that. We're going to have a short break, but we would encourage you to stay tuned because we have a very interesting guest coming up.
Stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back. Here are our hosts, JB and Bob.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Boy, I tell you what, that was a fascinating topic.
Well, I don't think people just realize what you can see just beyond, the naked eye.
Exactly.
It is amazing. And there was something that just came out this week about the sun. Did you see all of the news, the new visual that they have of the sun with all the little, I don't know the scientific word for it, but
Granules.
Granules. Well, that's not too scientific, is it? But it is amazing. We've got a new picture of the sun.
That is fabulous.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, now we're going to learn about something that I really think will help Bella Vista, well, everybody.
Okay.
Even, well, I don't know. Maybe there's no help for you, but anyway, we'll see. I'd like you to meet, everybody, Dr. Clint Freeman.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so glad you're here with me today.
Glad to be here.
I tell you what, I was so excited the other day when you called because I was telling Bob earlier I had a cancellation, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And you called.
Hey, the stars aligned.
I know, stars aligned. There you go. I tell you what, tell Bella Vista in particular, and beyond, who is Dr. Clint Freeman?
Well, I grew up over in Mountain Home. I'm sure some of you guys know where Mountain Home is. That's where my first practice was. Met a young lady who brought me over here about 7 years ago. And I've ran a chiropractic clinic for about 12 years. And then we seen the power of regenerative medicine. And so we became medically integrated. We now have a DO and a nurse practitioner. And we are a fully medically integrated clinic down in Springdale. And we are absolutely just loving the science behind regenerative medicine and what we're seeing people get with success and results with.
What is regenerative medicine?
Regenerative medicine. What is it?
I told you couldn't pronounce
I know.
The simplest way of putting it, it's allowing your body to heal itself. We don't claim that it's going to regrow anything or that it's going to make new parts where old parts used to be. But really the simplest form is that we're simply helping your body to heal back like it's actually supposed to. That's the best way of putting it.
So how do you do that?
So there's actually multiple forms of regenerative medicine. The science behind it is very, very solid. There's a lot of research. We'll talk about two of them that we use in our clinic, but there are multiple. We would literally need to be here for hours.
For hours?
So let's talk about two. Let's talk
Okay.
about something called PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and then we're going to talk about something called what usually at one point was called exosomes, but now it's called decellularized concentrated growth factors and macropods.
I think I'm out of my element, Bob.
Yeah, it was a lot simpler when you could just say exosomes, right?
Yeah,
But that's the two forms that we use in the clinic. So PRP's been around for years and years, and it's what happens is that it is age dependent because what we're doing is the nurse practitioner or the medical professional is going to pull your blood out, a vial or two, spin that down, and then use your plasma, your platelet-rich plasma, to, let's say, re-inject back into an arthritic knee. Now,
On your own body.
in your own body. So you're using your own plasma to re-inject back into, very common is arthritic knees. So re-inject that back into the knee. What that does is simply you're concentrating the healing factors of your own body and you're putting it into the knee, allowing the knee to start to heal.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a decreased pain, increased range of motion. It's very effective, but it can be age dependent. You know, the older you get, the less healing factors you have.
Sure.
In our clinic, we use a couple different therapies to stimulate the tissue before we ever do the injection, and we use a couple things to activate the PRP, so it is more effective. But it is, if you're 40 years old, PRP is going to be a lot more effective than if you're 80 years old. Mm-hmm. But it's still possible. We can still, different clinics can make it work a little bit better. But that's the most common. Now the other is the big long one, what used to be formerly known as exosomes. Do you remember what I just said?
No.
Okay, decellularized concentrated growth factors and macropods.
What he said.
That.
Yes.
Now that is donated tissue, and that comes from a happy, healthy mama, happy, healthy baby. There has to be a C-section, and then the tissue bank, actually, they donate that tissue to a tissue bank. They take that tissue and they actually extract the once formerly known exosomes out of that. So it's a donated tissue. Now that, you can imagine, has a very very concentrated healing factor.
Oh,
compared
absolutely.
To, when you're young, you can heal really, really quickly. And so when you use donated tissue, you're going to get faster results and you're going to get better results. Really the difference is going to be your time frame and how much money you want to spend.
So help me understand that. Obviously, the mother would have to give permission to do
Oh
this.
yeah, it's all donated, and they are tested extensively. Weeks before, the day of birth, and then the baby is actually tested, and then once it gets to the tissue bank, same if you were to get a heart transplant, this is the same kind of tissue banks.
Gotcha.
Heart transplant, liver transplant, same kind of companies. They are going to rigorously test that as well. Now, regenerative medicine is not FDA approved. It never will be because it's not a manufactured drug, but
Right.
it is FDA regulated, thank goodness. It
Yes.
needs to be regulated. And so there's these companies that help produce this, they are constantly being scrutinized by the FDA. They're coming in, they're doing audits to make sure that they're safe and that they're effective, that there's no transfer of anything. And the good news about these previously known exosomes, there's no DNA, and they're 1/1000th the size of a cell, which means they can cross blood-brain barrier, they can travel throughout the body. There are clinics, kind of to transfer to what all these things can be used for. There are clinics right now doing clinical studies with these exosomes, seeing the impact on Parkinson's, autism, because it will cross the blood-brain barrier, and they're getting fantastic results in some clinics. There's some on dementia. They're still working on that one. Some clinics are doing IV infusions of these things. So imagine if you got an IV infusion and throughout your entire body, anywhere you had inflammation, these markers would stimulate your body to start to heal. So there's clinics with celiac disease, or they're seeing improvement in celiac, Crohn's. If you have severe Crohn's, your option is to go in and get 3 or 4 feet of your intestines removed. Well, imagine if you could get an IV infusion, change your diet, do all the thing you could do an IV infusion, and also allow your body to heal from the inside out. So this is all stuff that's coming out, and they're gathering the data on it.
So is there ever any rejection of this?
No, ma'am.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, it's because there's no DNA. It's just all it is a growth factor. It's a marker. And so when that marker goes in, it's not, it can't tell if it's you or it's me. It just goes in and it stimulates where inflammation and healing needs to happen. It attaches to it and it stimulates your body to heal.
All right, so now let me ask the hard question, because I know that the audience would want to know about this. Is it affordable?
It is. Now I say that loosely. Of course, a lot of people, the most common question, will insurance cover it?
Exactly.
Well, the answer is no, not right now. Not typically the mainstream regenerative medicine, Medicare, insurance will not cover. There's some outlying things that Medicare will cover sometimes, and so with the affordability, your range, even in Northwest Arkansas, depending on what clinic you go to, it's really everyone's about the same on how much you're going to spend. So if you were to go in and get a knee done with PRP, it's probably going to be about $2,500 to $3,500.
100, not 1,000.
100.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you were to use donated tissue, it's going to be between 4 and 6. And some people say, well, I got 2 knees and a shoulder. Most clinics will, because when you buy this stuff in bulk, you get discounts the more joints that you do at the same time.
Okay.
And that's just, and it's there's financing available. Care Credit usually will finance this stuff. There's other forms of financing where even the patients that are on extremely fixed incomes can get a payment of $50 a month. Most people can afford a payment of $50 a month if it means not having to go through surgery, not having to go through downtime, being stuck in a facility doing rehab for a while. That's the benefit.
Exactly. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, who knew? This is exciting, and I'm hoping that it won't be that long before the things like this are paid for by insurance. What about Medicaid?
Medicaid won't touch it. Mayo's using it right now, but it's still all a cash service.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really the biggest things is a lot of people ask me, well, what do I need to know to be, how do I know that if it's going to work for me, or what should I look for? So the most common issues are going to be if you have knee pain, shoulder pain, hip pain. There's actually a very effective neuropathy protocol that if you're using regenerative medicine and an at-home protocol, is a 98% success rate at reversing neuropathy. 98% is a pretty good number on reversing neuropathy.
I tell you what, I wish we had way more time to talk about that, because I think a lot of people could use that help, and then without drugs.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So, if somebody wanted to come and talk to you, how do they get a hold of you?
You can call us on our. You can call the office at 479-751-0190, or we have a website that's going to be up on the screen, and we do weekly seminars, and they're free. So just call us, find out when our seminar is. We do it at different times to try to help people to get in, those that work, those that don't. And come in, learn about what we do, learn about what regenerative medicine is, and if it's a great fit, we'll help you. If not, we can suggest another clinic that might be a better fit.
Okay. So those weekly seminars are at your Springdale location, which is
we're at 2988 West Huntsville Avenue, so we're exit 73.
So call in.
Yep.
Make sure that there's room. Mm-hmm. And then also you probably do consults too before you start anything.
We do absolutely free consultations, okay. And it's either going to be with me or the medical staff.
Okay. Wow, I think my head is going to explode. I've learned so much today.
Well, yes, we didn't program on bringing all these PhDs and MDs and everything else on this same day, but I'm ready to bring us back down to earth if you want to with the Book of Bob.
I am so. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Freeman. You'll have to come back.
Yeah. Have to.
All right.
Okay. Well, I don't want to disappoint our viewers. I know they're anxious to hear
about
the word from the Book of Bob.
Yes.
And in keeping with the Kansas City Chiefs celebrating their victory in the Super Bowl and the parade today, I have a quote from legendary football coach Bobby Bowden, not at Arkansas, but most people who follow football know Bobby Bowden. And he said, talking about a player, he doesn't know the meaning of the word fear, but then again, he doesn't know the meaning of most words.
Well, thank you, Bob, for those words of wisdom.
And Bobby Bowden.
And Bobby Bowden. Well, listen, we've enjoyed, at least I have, enjoyed being with you today.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you to both of our guests, and thank you to our supporters. And hey, if you want to be part of this fun crew, come back down and see us. We're all volunteer. We'll teach you to do most anything you never wanted to learn. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
See you next month.
Remember, you can see this program on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at various times. You may also view this program on YouTube.com by going to Bella Vista TV. This has been a presentation of Bella Vista Community Television. Thank you for joining us.